Welcome back, Roman Renegades. I am Lupine Fiasco, this is Daily FaB Gameplay, and today we are looking at the last of the Heavy Hitters heroes, Betsy, skin in the game. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the Resistance. What we do here is review replays of games that I played on the Talishar client days or weeks ago, after enough time has passed that I lose my bias and can more objectively judge the quality of my games. I will talk through turn cycles and go into depth on the line I would take now, then compare that to the line I took at the time of recording. We either learn from my mistakes or reinforce good play patterns with the overall goal of tightening and optimizing our gameplay in the future to take down paper events like the upcoming Road to Nationals or ProQuest, and most importantly, walk away with that shiny, shiny cardboard. If you would like to review the list I'm playing here or try it for yourself on Talishar, the FaB deck link is available in the video description below. While you're down there, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. A YouTube subscription is the best free way to support me, to make sure that you see daily FaB gameplay in your video feed 5 days a week. But if you'd like to go above and beyond, then the best paid way to support me is through Patreon. The Patreon link is also in the video description. A Patreon subscription will get you access to the DFG Discord. At higher tiers, your name will be featured in every DFG video, you'll get bonus content every week, and there are more great benefits to come. Daily FaB gameplay will always be free 5 days a week, so for those who can afford to patronize me, I truly appreciate it. Let's talk about our sideboard. I'll give some initial thoughts on Betsy. First off, like yesterday, I've returned to Talishar's open format queue. So here's your disclaimer about this being week -2 of the Heavy Hitters meta and that I can't vouch for the play or deck building skill of my opponents. What I can vouch for is that Betsy, skin in the game, has the potential to be a very scary matchup for FaB. If you've been around Flesh and Blood for a while, you might remember the aggro Oldhim lists that popped up during the Uprising meta. Unlike Bravo, or the more standard Oldhim lists of the day, aggro Oldhim relied less on crush effects and more on cards like Frostfang and Pummel that would disrupt if just a single point of damage got through. Adapting to this style of play was difficult, as it required FaB players to exhibit patience and blocking to execute well, two things that FaB players do not have in abundance. Which is fine, because Betsy's overpower takes those blocking decisions away from us. Betsy's hero power combined with the effect of Good Time Chapeau will give her attacks extra power and prevent us from fully committing our hands to blocks when it would otherwise be in our favor to do so. Pair that with cards like Concuss or Command Respect, with old favorites like Spinal Crush and Command and Conquer, and we're looking at disruptive effects and unpreventable damage that whittle down our life total and strip our ability to crack back. Victor isn't the only Guardian making use of gold in this set. Betsy will be winning clashes and empowering her Chapeau while going above rate on her block cards. Keep in mind that unlike every other specialization head equipment in Heavy Hitters, Chapeau does not destroy itself on use, as long as Betsy is generating gold and as long as she does not block twice with the Chapeau, the good times will keep rolling. So how can we try to combat this disruptive evasion? My thought, at least at the start of the format, is to not even try. We're leaving our furnace and our defense reactions at home and putting our own skin in the game, trying to outpace Betsy on her off turns. Despite her deck being loaded up with Disruption and Wager, consider our Azalea plan. We sit and we wait for her to fire off raw damage, then fire off a big turn of our own to take tempo back. It won't always happen, but I believe it's a better strategy than hoping to draw into D-React and Armor at just the right time, while somehow also having a proper follow-up. We're less afraid to chip in the odd head jab here and there than we would be against Victor. Betsy can punish us with blocks like Victor can, but she won't redraw by creating gold. Plus, if we can't block with our head jabs, we should be putting them to use on offense, rather than just sitting with 2 or 3 cards in hand doing nothing. So let's see if all this planning is enough to get us a win. We win the die roll, and we are putting Betsy on the play. This is standard FaB behavior. There's nothing about the hero that makes me think that making her go first will be a problem. Swinging the Anothos for 4. We would have been happy to keep this hand if Betsy had just passed, but as it is, we'll take the opportunity to filter a bit, keeping our Spreading Flames and our blue. I don't have any problem firing off this hand for maximum value. I'm not exactly looking to arsenal a card here. We'll open with Spreading Flames. We'll follow with Brand with Cinderclaw and Searing Emberblade. Brand will get the Spreading Flames effect. Emberblade will not. Our Phoenix Flame follow-up will get Spreading Flames and Shuko. And finally, Blaze Headlong will get the Spreading Flames effect. So Flames here effectively a 1/4/6. It's pretty good. Not looking to break Pouncing Links. We could think about breaking it for Tenacity, but Betsy is still so high on life. We would like the Pouncing Links activation trigger to be a little more devastating to Betsy. Getting in for 7 damage with Tenacity here is nice, sure. 7 is a great number, but it takes Betsy to 25, and then she just never needs to worry about Pouncing Links again. I don't love it. I would like to wait. Of course, that won't stop me from checking just to make sure how many blocks have happened so far. It is 4, so Tenacity would come in for 6. That's below rate for what I've been getting out of Pouncing Links lately. My floor for Pouncing Links these days is actually 7, which is the damage a Lava Burst deals with a Shuko trigger and an Art of War or Spreading Flames buff. Betsy here using the Chapeau, playing the Double Down, and coming in with a Dominated Spinal Crush for 12. That will make a Might and Vigor on hit, doubled by the Double Down effect. So this Spinal Crush effectively coming for 16 damage, that's very impressive. And like I said, because of Overpower, we can't give cards to block this. We would like to if we could. With the Spinal Crush effect, I would be happy to block with Nasty Surprise and Mounting Anger and just arsenal a Lava Burst. We just can't. So instead, we will throw our Emberblade for 3. We will arsenal our Lava Burst. We'll keep our 3-block blue rather than our 2-block blue, just in case we need to block. Nasty Surprise also keeps the door open for a discard to pummel or concuss. At this point, in somewhere between 10 and 20 games with FaB into the new heroes, I've gotten the Nasty Surprise effect once. It did feel very good. I can confirm that discarding a Nasty Surprise to a concuss or a pummel does feel great. Really, really cool. We are just playing out this turn, not looking to break Pouncing Links, not looking to get fancy. We are going for the simple 13 damage FaB turn. We will pick up our Phoenix Flame, play it, and throw the Lava Burst for 7. Arsenal, the E-Strike is fine. That is going to set us up for future turns. We have a 7-power attack in the face of a Spinal Crush. We can block aggressively from hand if we need to. It also lets us filter double finishers out of our hand if we don't necessarily want to use our Snapdragons that turn. Here, I am really interested in taking this damage if possible. Anothos for 4 puts us to 15. We're at an 11-point deficit on Betsy, but we have a Snatch, which will get go again from the Quicken that Betsy gave us at the end of our last turn. Snatch will also turn on Flame Call Awakening. So we get to Snatch, Flame Call, Emberblade, Phoenix Flame, then pick up our second Phoenix Flame and bottom it to the E-Strike to get it back into our deck and to draw a card. So Betsy does have the Test of Strength to 1-card block our Snatch. Unfortunately, we would have liked for her to need to commit more to the Snatch, But let's not yet go again. We don't need to break our snap. So we're feeling really good about our position in this game so far. Yeah, we're down on life by a significant margin, but we still have our pouncing links, and we're going to fire off a big E-strike draw that has the potential to break our pouncing links for a big Salt the Wound or maybe Tenacity. Just playing out the turn here. We've thrown 2 3-power attacks that Betsy has taken. Without having much knowledge of this hero, I don't know what her devastating 4-card hand looks like, but I'm really interested in finding out. I'm going to go ahead and break pouncing links for Salt the Wound here. If Betsy does want to take all of this damage, we are happy to heap it on. Really make her pay for whatever she's about to do. We're going to draw here. We have a resource available from our Spring Tunic in case we draw something like a Mounting Anger. Unfortunately, we draw an E-Strike, which is a great card to tuck into the arsenal, but with a spreading Salt the Wound, we would have loved to throw another attack on this chain. We arsenal the E-Strike. We draw into a really solid hand. If Betsy doesn't kill us here, then we get to throw a lot of damage back her way, looking like Ronin Renegade, Rising Resentment, Emberblade, Phoenix Flame. We can bottom our Mounting Anger to E-Strike. We could bottom our Phoenix Flame to the E-Strike and push another point of damage for Mounting Anger, potentially 2, depending on our sequencing. But based on how we would need to sequence our turn to get value out of Mounting Anger, I don't think it's likely to hit, and I don't think threatening a single extra point of damage is worth losing our only Phoenix Flame in discard. So we are still throwing a 15 damage turn with a card in Arsenal, or a 17 damage turn if we think that we can kill Betsy. Feeling very good about our position in this game. It's worth noting that Betsy has really not drawn into disruption. I wouldn't say that we high-rolled this game. We drew very well. We were certainly on the right side of variance, but I think Betsy might have been on the wrong side of it. No concuss, no command and conquer effect, nothing to really take advantage of all of this might and vigor that Betsy's generating. Here we are going to command and conquer for 7. The reason behind this is that based on Betsy's armor, just a single point left on the chapeau, her gloves are committed to blocking, and plating does not have any block value left. Betsy needs to give us her entire hand to not be dead. If she blocked with the chapeau and a 3 or even 4 block from hand, she takes 2 and dies. So we just want to keep her off of being able to do anything. Vigor here generates 2 resources, so even if Betsy only blocked with a single card from hand, Anothos comes in for 6, or potentially we're looking at Betsy pitching a blue from hand to play something like a Debilitate or a Choke Slam from Arsenal for 10, and us not easily being able to deal with it. So we do want to just make sure that we are pressuring Betsy's hand, taking away her options for her next turn. We aren't generating value for this coming turn, but we are taking away the threat of being dead. 4-card FaB is very unlikely to break. Betsy decides to pack it in based on us being 4-card FaB and Betsy being at 1 with no armor. We can see that we got 14 value per turn in this game, but if we look at Betsy, we see that she was getting 15.6, so a significant amount higher value than we got, and we won. But we also know that Betsy's value was not presenting on hits, and I think if she had drawn a little bit differently, maybe drawn some of those disruptive on hits, her value is going to go up and our value is going to go down. So it isn't a stretch to imagine that a refined Betsy list is going to handle FaB pretty easily. Our opponents put us in a bad spot once or twice. That 12 damage overpower Spinal Crush certainly could have been the beginning of a chain of disruption, but we know that Betsy didn't quite draw into that disruption needed to take us off of our 5-card hands, but I wouldn't count on that happening every game. I think our Betsy here low rolled and an average draw is going to absolutely give 1 or 2 more on hits over the course of a match. That being said, I do feel good about Tunic acting as a 5th card in our hand or our arsenal when we do get disrupted. Even if we didn't get any value out of it this game, we ended with 3 counters on the Tunic. I think that the Tunic is going to be good for paying for that Flame Call Awakening or Spreading Flames or Art of War that really gets our turn going. Overall, Betsy seems to be the least popular of the new heroes, certainly among my play group, and I'll have to get back to you with more thoughts about the matchup as I run into her naturally on Talishar or maybe at my weekly armories. But I do hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you did, be sure to head jab that like button. My comments are always open for any questions or feedback. And again, if you have not already done so, please do me a huge favor by subscribing to the channel. It's free, it helps me a lot. But whether you do or you don't, I will see you next week for more daily FaB gameplay. Good luck at your pre-releases. Enjoy heavy hitters. I know I will. And until I see you again, take care.